She is an actor, a comedian, an activist, a member of the Order of Canada, and now Mary Walsh is adding author to that long list of accomplishments. Crying for the Moon is Walsh's brand new novel. It's a coming-of-age story. It's set in Newfoundland in the 60s. Mary Walsh is joining us here again in studio on Your Morning. Hello and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You've been writing for a really long time. You've been writing comedy and sketch comedy. How is it different to write a novel?
Oh, well, I mean, when you write sketch comedy, you assume you're going to be on stage, and then if people don't like it, you can sort of wink and nod and scratch your bum until you get a laugh. But when you are putting the novel out there, you know, it's like, it's out in the world by itself, and somebody's at home going, don't like that. You know what I mean? There's that nervousness, I find, anyway, about... and of course, it's new for me, even though I've wanted to write a novel since I was 11, when my cousin Mary and I wrote May Woodbury and Her Adventures at School, but we never finished it. Everybody in my family is called Mary. Even my oldest brother, Kevin, took Mary as his confirmation name. So, yeah, we're all called Mary, so it's confusing. You've
wanted to write a novel for a really long time. Why is now the time to put out a book?
I don't know. I can only think that as you get older, you do have that feeling, if not now, when, you know? And, you know, a lucky set of breaks ended up, you know, I'd written about 200 pages of this book, none of which is in the book. And so my agent took me to HarperCollins, and they said, well, yes, and they gave me a year to do it, and it took 5.
Okay. One of the things I noticed for sure in the book is, just like your characters that you bring to life, you know, on stage and on screen, you hear the characters' voices, and I could hear them just as clearly as I could see them. Tell me about writing and creating these characters, and in a long format.
Well, you know, always I write out loud, right? So you know, I write by hand, but I'm talking the whole time. So I have to be, like, I can't write at the library or at Starbucks, because I have to do all the characters and stuff, and also I can't use that kind of technology because I have to use the different voices. So I'm actually performing the novel as I'm doing it, so that's why I guess the voices. So you know, yeah, it's all out loud.
All right, even before chapter 1 in this book, you've got your main character Maureen, and she's poisoning her husband with insect killer in the orange juice. Where did that idea come from?
Wow. You know, I did know someone who was, you know, who used to be in the business of killing insects and mice and things. And chloridane was something that I, you know, knew about. And that's where that came from. I just happen to know about chloridane, which they don't use anymore, apparently, because it's too toxic.
As we find out. All right, you're dealing with some heavy issues, I hear. We're talking about teen pregnancy. We've got alcoholism, domestic abuse. It is dark, but there is a thread of humor that runs through it, especially in some of the dialogue. And so, you know, you're used to making people laugh, but, you know, tell me the challenge about taking it to the dark side of it.
Well, I don't know if we ever, you know, once I wrote, in Toronto, I wrote a play called Hockey Wives, and I remember the Globe and Mail said, if there was a Dora Maver Moore Award for the most misanthropic playwright, Mary Walsh would get it for Hockey Wives. So I've always come from the dark side, you know, to a certain degree. In fact, I find I've lightened up quite a lot as I've gotten older, which is good, eh? That could happen. But yeah, I don't find that it's any. I found the length difficult. I didn't find the subject matter difficult, or you know, I didn't try to be dark. I think that a lot of the comedy that I've written in my life has been based on real life experiences, if not mine, then someone's, or what I've seen, or, you know, and so there's often darkness, because with the light, you can't have light unless there's dark. And so comedy, I mean, so many comedians are depressives who try to see a dark situation and add light to it, right? So all comedians come from the dark side. There's no, that's just the way it is. It's the tragedians who are living lives of unremitting, you know, happiness.
I'm going to move away from the book for just a moment.
Okay.
Marg Delahunty, is she dying to come out and challenge Donald Trump? We would love to see that.
I would like to challenge Ivanka Trump.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I find you know, I find that the way people are so hopeful about her, and what has she ever done that has made people feel hopeful? And I would just like to add, you know, she says nothing. She is a person who says nothing. Donald Trump says a whole bunch of stuff, none of which is understandable. But Ivanka is so well schooled in the art of spin that she speaks forever and she says nothing. So I'd just like to talk to her for me, or at her, as Marg does. Then Marg doesn't talk to people, she talks at them.
Would she have any specific advice for Ms. Trump?
Well, get real and grow up, I guess. You know, I guess I would have that advice, really. But why should she? Things are going so well, you know.
We will wait and watch and see for that interaction. But in the meantime, pick up a copy of the book. It is called Crying for the Moon. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.